Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is the Listening Mentor Show. We're going to be talking about when appearances are deceptive. What does that mean? Well, there's a lot of different examples we can give, but something that just popped into my mind was I just saw this huge bird that flew over, and I could look at it and go, oh my gosh, that is probably a vulture. It's going to attack me. And maybe it looks like a vulture, but maybe it's just a little pigeon that from a distance looks much bigger. So appearances can be deceptive. We're going to find out more from our in-house resident therapist, the Harley Street stress expert. Caroline Heward is a dear friend. She's also a genius when it comes to relationships, understanding emotions, understanding life experiences. And she's been helping people all over the world. She offers a free Zoom consultation. We'll find out more about that. Let's welcome Caroline Heward, the Harley Street stress expert. Hello.
Woo-hoo. Hello.
Woo, yeah.
Thank you very much. That's I don't know what to say now. I better make sure I live up to everything you said.
Well, it's all true. I didn't just meet you, right? We've been doing this for a while now, and you certainly helped me in my life, and you've helped people all over the world. So much appreciated. And of course, you get to be the illustrious expert in-house because you've earned it. You are a certified therapist and you really know your P's and Q's. You have a lot of training, a lot of credentials. Tell us about what it is that makes you so passionate about helping people.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. One of the big things for me about helping others is that I was also in corporate and really suffered with stress considerably. I didn't even realize that I was stressed. I just handled stuff. I had the regular headache, the regular low back pain, the not sleeping very well. And I just thought that was normal. And when I entered into a depression after losing my dad, I realized when I became aware that was something very wrong with me. And it was then that I started asking questions. And my passion is that I solved my own challenges and got over my depression and the physical aches and pains and the anxiety and understood how to work out what was causing my stress, and more importantly, actually practices to resolve it and make sure that I didn't repeat the patterns. And because I wasn't taught that at school, at college, at university, or any of those places that I did any type of formal education. And when I learnt these things, I just thought, wow, wouldn't it be great if I could help others so that they didn't suffer? And so the person that I usually see is somebody that's suffering in those normal things, their relationships, bereavement, grief, they're suffering in their work, not sleeping, physical aches and pains. And because I've solved mine, I love to help others solve theirs too, so they live a better life just like I do.
Bravo. I love that. That is brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So today we're going to talk about something very specific. I have to say, I'm raising my hand. I have been one of these people in the past. You look like you have it all together. Wow, check me out. But in the meantime, you're like, woohoo, I'm so insecure. But people look and go, oh yeah, you have everything. And meanwhile, you're sitting in the corner crying, feeling sorry for yourself. Now, part of what I want to discuss is I really believe that when we put on a certain image, we dress a certain way, we carry ourselves a certain way, that has an impact on how we really feel about ourselves. But maybe I'm totally wrong. Tell me what you think.
Oh, yes, absolutely. In fact, some of the trainings that I've been on, especially female trainings specifically, what we've been told is if we don't have nice underwear on, the girl doesn't feel as nice outside because the underwear isn't right. It's about how you feel. And so if you're wearing a very nice, pretty dress, but it sort of feels awkward for you, or you're having to keep pulling it, or it doesn't quite sit right, but you're wearing it because it's formal, you will look uncomfortable. And so in the female trainings, especially the ones that I've done where they're very high level corporate, they've always said, dress comfortably and make sure that you're wearing things that fit right, so you're not fidgeting and moving your hemline up and down and stretching things over your knees because it keeps riding up. And I found that that was really useful. And so whenever I'm getting ready to go to a meeting, for instance, I make sure, firstly, that I choose something that's appropriate for the occasion. And secondly, that I feel comfortable, because what felt comfortable in one day might not feel comfortable the next day.
That's so true. And I'm actually laughing here as this iguana is checking me out. Hello. Anyway, have you ever been to an event and you're like this? Oh, yeah, I got to pull up my dress. Like you're constantly fidgeting because you're not comfortable with yourself. And people see that. And the first thing I think to myself is, why is she wearing that plunging low top if she can't carry it off? So in other words, if you're showing your boobs, show them. You know what I mean? Like put your shoulders back and be proud and just say, yeah, this is it. But when you're like this, people are going to be looking at you and saying she's not comfortable in her own skin. Why is she wearing that? So in that example, let's just talk about that for a moment, because I've seen it a million times. I've done it myself when I was younger. We put on something that is definitely tight, or it's short, or it's plunging, and we're out there, or we're wearing giant heels and we're like kind of shuffling along because we're afraid we're going to fall. Why are we wearing these things?
Well, there's many reasons. One of the key things that we're doing it for is because we think that other people expect us to look a certain way, so to dress a certain way. If we think that the standard is that men expect us to be wearing high shoes, then we do. And I certainly did that for many years. And now I wear kitten heels because I'm actually wanting to be comfortable as well as looking smart. I like the fact that I don't have to add inches onto my height because I feel that I'm not tall enough. I'm now feeling more comfortable about being my height. And I was always wearing really high shoes to make sure that I stood a bit taller because I was so short. I'm only 5'1" and 3/4 inches. And so I am not even 5'2" yet. And so I always wanted to be that extra 3-4 inches. But now it's about the fact that I don't feel that I need to wear those very high heels to be confident and comfortable. And I think it's we think that we are more appealing, and we think it's an expectation from other people that you have to wear high shoes, high heels, and you have to wear that low neck dress. Now, from my personal perspective, I wear what I want when I'm comfortable to wear in terms of the avenues and the situations that I'm in.
I love that. Thank you so much. And I want to talk a little bit more about that when appearances are deceptive. So we dress because we want to be perceived a certain way, but yet we're not comfortable with what we're wearing. I remember, this is really embarrassing, but I had this beautiful pair of Prada shoes. First of all, they were too small. I'm just letting you know now. And they were 7 inches. 7 inches.
Gosh.
And I was probably 45 years old, and I was driving. Can you imagine driving in a shoe that's and I got out of the car and there was a sidewalk there, and I literally stepped up and tripped and fell because I wasn't able to determine where the sidewalk was. And of course, now I look like an idiot, bleeding, but yet I still had the shoes on. I look good with the shoes on if I just didn't move or touch the blood. And I said to myself, this doesn't make any sense. You can't be comfortable in your own skin if you're wearing 7-inch heeled shoes and you can't pull them off. You're not a model on a runway, which, by the way, we've seen on Instagram and other places, model who's actually just completely wiped out. So I don't think it's easy for anyone. But what I've also seen is hair color. I've seen lately, I saw 2 people, each one had like pink, fuchsia pink, somebody else had green, and the whole time they keep playing with their hair, and I'm thinking, we see you because you have pink hair. It's hard for it, hello, I see you, but why do you keep touching the pink hair? And I think it's because they feel it's uncomfortable to have the attention. So if you wear something to draw attention, you have to be comfortable getting the attention
and to carry it off. And I believe that one of the main reasons that people are wearing these different outfits, very high shoes, is social media in our current times, what the celebrities are wearing, what they see on TV as the norm. And there is a keeping up with what's perceived to be the right way to dress. And the more shocking and the more alluring it is, and the more outrageous it is, the more that you get the attention. And it's, what is that attention giving you? Is it really the best attention that you want to be receiving, or is it something that's making a statement? And there are so many very young people, young children that are, 7, 8, 9, and 10, that are very much focused on their appearance and their hair and their makeup, especially young girls, because there is so much impetus in social media to look a certain way and to come across a certain way in terms of the way that you speak. And so now there's a lot more anxiety about the way that we look and the way that we show up, that there's an expectation that we should look and be a certain way. Underneath, you just might not be that person that you're showing up to be on camera. And if you're not that person, that will start to show in the way that you speak or the way that you feel inside. So you might look very confident on the outside, but internally, you're probably quaking in your boots or feeling very, very low self-esteem or low self-confidence.
It's so true, that pressure. And something that is coming up for me, there was a television series, and I can't remember the name of it. Actually, I just remember the name of it, but it was with Jane Fonda. I don't know if you know Jane Fonda or not, but she's a legend. And in this show, she portrays this older woman who's married. And anyway, she and her husband come back from being out, and she sits down at her vanity and she immediately starts unclipping her hair, and she's taking out these faux hair extensions. Then she takes off her eyelashes, and she takes out, like, the whole thing is coming undone. And I'm just laughing to myself, because in some way, it doesn't have to be those specific ways, but in some ways we pad ourselves with something or other so that we feel like we fit in. And when you take all of that off, like, for example, there's another reality TV show where I think it's Love is Blind, and they end up going back to get together, and they're taking off the wig, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, who are you? Who are we? So we are setting ourselves up to be inauthentic. Now, if you meet someone and I meet you and I say, Caroline, I just want to let you know that I'm wearing a wig, and I take off my wig, and we're sitting at dinner, and I go, yeah, this isn't really me. You might be like, whoa, that's a little bit too much information. But yet down the road, if you and I are going to have a friendship, you're going to need to know those things, because the real me is going to show up at some point. What do you think?
Well, absolutely. It's kind of really scary, isn't it, that on social media specifically, because, sort of there are lots of filters, and there's lots of different ways that we can like sort of take out a wrinkle, and, we can change the way that we look. What happens is that when you actually meet the person face to face, especially if you're only seeing them on camera, and there is so much in that vein in terms of online dating, that the person doesn't look like the picture, what they thought on camera. And if you are packing out and taking off the false eyelashes and the wig and all the different paraphernalia bits that were your armor, essentially, it's a false image. And, you know, the thing that comes to mind is to not judge a book by its cover, because if the look is one thing and you're going after the look, and yet underneath there's something different, it's not just about physical, it's what's actually underneath, what the essence is of the person. You know, you can have incredible looks, but actually you can be quite nasty underneath it, or maybe not so empathic with people or compassionate. And I feel that it's important to be, you know, beautiful on the inside, because if you're beautiful on the inside in the way that you are, that beauty comes on the outside of you.
Yes, I agree with you. And I don't know if this is a trend, but I'm going to use the word trend in air quotes. There have been a number of very famous global actors, actresses who are now coming out and saying, you know, the fact that I'm older, I'm not getting the fillers. I'm not getting the injectables. I'm not wearing the wigs. I'm just going to be me. And you see them, you go, who the heck is that? I don't know who that is, because that person doesn't look like this person. And there's kind of that period of change where you go, wow, I don't know how I feel about that. You know, in some ways you feel, I think it's great that they've decided to age gracefully. But at the same time, Martha Stewart, for example, she just came out recently. She's been in the press saying that, no, she's not going to age gracefully. She's not going to just say, I'm going to go with the process. She's going to do whatever it is that she feels she needs to do to stay younger. So what do you think, Caroline, when we think about appearances or deceptive, is it deceptive to want to take care of yourself and do things that are not native to you as a human being? So Botox, fillers, cosmetic surgery, tattooing of the eyebrows, or eyelash extensions, hair extensions. What are your thoughts? Or should we just say, you know what, if I really do appreciate myself, I'm just going to let the hair turn gray, let my teeth fall out. I'm just giving an example, just exaggerating. What do you think?
There's a lot there. I have some,
you don't have to worry about your teeth.
I have some very strong opinions about some of those things, in the fact that I would never use Botox. I would never tattoo my eyebrows. My eyebrows are real, and, you know, my hair is real. And I've only ever had 2 fillings in my life, and I feel that it's because I've looked after myself. If other people do it, well, I don't really feel that I'm in a place to judge, because different people do it for different reasons, you know. And I feel that if they're wearing a wig because it makes them feel better, then, you know, who am I to say that's wrong? You know, certainly if there's been medication that has made their hair change, or if there's like sort of been an illness that has affected their hair and their skin, then who am I to say? I just feel that from my perspective personally, I wouldn't wear a wig. And I know so many people that do. It's kind of quite interesting. And I didn't realize how many people did. And sometimes I fail to recognize them because their hair is so different. But I've never worn a wig in my life, and my hair is my hair, and all my teeth are mine. And so I feel very lucky, you know, that I've been, you know, able to do that. But some people can't. Some people have been ravaged by the sun and not taking care of their health or their skin. And so there is a need. And it's because I believe social media is showing us a picture of how we should look, that it affects a lot of people in terms of what feels okay for them and what feels right in terms of other people's perceptions. And I do feel we live in this world now that is about pleasing and being the topic of somebody else's judgments, rather than feeling comfortable in our own skin. And there's no right or wrong here. Personally, I just wouldn't go with it. And I'm trusting that, you know, I'm 60 almost, and I haven't needed to do any of that. I do my REITs, and there's only a small piece, but, you know, sort of apart from that, everything is sort of is mine, you know, and I'm very proud of the fact that it's about looking after myself, and that's the key here, to look after oneself as you go through life, rather than ravaging yourself with recreational substances, with alcohol, because all of these have an effect on your skin, your hair, and your looks.
Yeah, absolutely. Very true. You know, something that I have to say that I find amusing, but that's not really the right word, interesting. People forget that when they come on this platform, StreamYard or Wave.video, that I can see them backstage. And I can't tell you how many times the show will be over and somebody takes off their hair, they take off their and I've never said anything to anyone. I'm just like, please keep your pants on. Please just keep your pants on. Sometimes people will sit back and they'll want to watch the show, even though the show's over. They don't realize it's over. But I'm like, yeah, their hair is fit. Everything's just, it's just kind
Gosh. Well, what can I say? Well, I'm not one of those people that does that.
No, I've never seen that from you. But so I'd like to just move our conversation into a different perspective, which is you meet someone who has a title. Okay, maybe it's your boss, or maybe it's someone who is very successful in their field. And you look at them and you think, oh, wow. And this happens all the time. People say, I wish I was like her. I wish I was like him. Look what she has. Look what he has. Look where they're going. Look what she's wearing. Especially on social media. I've seen on Instagram lately, power couples. You know, she and he, they're beautiful. Wow, look at them. They're so well dressed. They're holding hands. They're so in love. But it's just for a moment in time. So my question to you is, when we see someone in a position that's enviable, or maybe it's someone we report to, and they look like they have it all, how do we find comfort in ourselves knowing that really we have it all too?
That's a really interesting perspective, because it's in our times of social media, it's very critical to look right all of the time, to almost post all the good stuff. And when you're looking at other people's profiles in particular, and they're all looking like they're having the greatest of holidays and the best of food and the greatest of friendships, and their relationship is all really great. It is a second, a moment in time. It's a snapshot. It's not the reality of their entire life. It's the snapshot of the moment that they took that picture. And in that moment, in that second of taking the picture, that's what it looked like. And it might not be like that all the time. The beaming smile and the fact that they're in a glorious background might be something that's not true in terms of the way that they're being inside. You can be in a really, really good looking relationship that looks great on the outside, but be suffering inside. It could be that you have high levels of anxiety in the relationship, or it could be an abusive relationship, especially when it comes down to narcissistic relationships, where they always look good publicly, but behind the scenes, they're not. So looks can be deceptive. And just because somebody has a powerful position and a powerful title doesn't mean they have it all. In fact, I see a lot of people that have the title, the fame, the fortune, and they have everything that we think deems them as successful and happy, but underneath they're very unhappy because they live in their head and they don't feel. And when everything is about appearances, underneath there might be suffering, there might be intimacy issues, there might be anxiety, and there might be all sorts of issues that on the surface you can't see, because all you've seen is that snapshot, that moment in time. And then we think that they've got it all, but actually that person is taken. They can't have what you have. And if you're envying and being jealous over someone else, you don't actually know what's going on in their real world.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. And, you know, it leads me to believe also about the animal kingdom. We see some animals that look demure, but they've got ways to protect themselves. You know, we think, oh, that's nice and sweet. Meanwhile, we have to be prepared for it. So I think really what I want people to start considering is showing up as your authentic self, but at the same time, you mentioned before about not judging anyone. I'm not judging people either. I think sometimes people get a lot of work done because, and this is just from the shows that I've watched, Botched, etc., where people have work done and then they need to have it redone. At some point, they can't say, well, you know what, I'm happy with myself. Maybe I need a little tweak of this, maybe lose a little weight here. But at some point, we have to be able to say, I do love myself and I can accept myself. And that is really a difficult thing to do.
What you're talking about is, when people are having different procedures, and I'm going to name names. Michael Jackson had a lot of different procedures on his face, a lot of cosmetic surgery. And because he had the money to do it, he was doing it. And that's the other thing, when you have the money and you're not feeling something and you think, well, I'll just correct my nose, I'll just make sure that I have a dimple and I'll pull in have a tummy tuck. All these things that we're doing, we think that the external appearance makes us feel good. And actually, it's not the external that makes us feel good. It's how we feel inside that makes us feel good. And no matter how much cosmetic surgery Michael Jackson had, he never felt happy. In fact, it went beyond the fact that it was making him look good, and he was actually suffering from it. And, I sometimes think that some clever surgeons should be saying no, but they want the money much more than saying no to somebody for something that they don't really need. And they're looking to solve a problem by their appearance rather than looking on the inside of what's making them feel the way they feel.
Yes, I agree. And I also think it's interesting when someone comes forth with something that they feel will help others by sharing something about themselves that they feel might be uplifting, or you didn't know this about me, and now that you know that I'm this, or I feel like that, I hope that that helps you. So something that came out into the press, I don't know if it was today or yesterday, and I really like to get your thoughts on this. And it's about Martha Stewart again. Nothing against Martha. We're here providing education. Is that she shared that her underwear is a bathing suit. She's always wearing a bathing suit bottoms because she never knows if she wants to go swimming.
Wow.
I know that's now. The first thing I thought was, how often is she near water? I don't. So she's sharing this for a reason. I don't know what the reason is. You haven't spoken to her probably, but what are your thoughts about why share something like this?
Well, I have to say that I've stayed in many classy hotels and conference centres where they have a pool, and I've not taken a swimsuit and been able to take advantage of the pool, which has been really annoying. Because I thought, oh, I never thought about it. So maybe she's had experiences like that she's been in situations where she's in a really nice location, she's by a really nice pool, or she's actually on location and the sea is really wonderful, or the ocean, and she's forgotten her bathing suit. So maybe this is her way of making sure that she doesn't miss out. So this feels like she's feeling like if she's not in a bathing suit, that she will miss out on the opportunity to swim. And so she wants to make sure that she never misses out. And underneath that, there will be things in her life that she felt that she missed out on the opportunity to take a swim. And so now she's always prepared. It's an interesting one.
Yeah, it definitely is an interesting one. So yeah, there's definitely that perspective, and I wish we had the opportunity to interview her. She definitely has been in the press a lot about aging, and she's going to do whatever is necessary because she's not going down without a fight. So I appreciate that. Something else I wanted to mention, because we were talking about Botox and other things, is that I've noticed now that I'm teaching fitness, I see a lot of younger people, high school, college. And one thing that's really come across for me is people are getting work done a lot earlier, number one. Number two, I see a lot of really provocative workout clothes. And at some point, and this could just be me, when I'm working out, I'm working out. I mean, I am like out there pushing myself. And I look and I say, I don't know how long your boobs are going to be in that top. I mean, if you're really going to be pushing yourself, it could be a boob out. You know what I mean? It could easily be a boob. It's just like, I don't, unless you've got like the movie stars, they've got tape, I guess, and everything's taped in and not moving around. But what do you think about that pressure on the younger generations that they have to air quotes, start doing a lot of these processes because of the pressure of social media?
Well, it's exactly that. It's the pressure of looking right everywhere they go. And if they're in the gym, you know, when I was younger, if you went to the gym, you just went in your scruffs almost, you know, to just do your sweat out, and then that was it. And then you would come and change into your nicer clothes. But now the gym is a destination. It's somewhere that you're going to be seen, and it might be that they're looking to pick up that new person in their life, that new relationship. Many people will see each other in the gym, and there will be flirtation comments, so they want to make sure they don't miss out on the opportunity. And so I believe that if you're looking for a partner specifically, like if you're a very attractive woman and you're single, this is a great place to find somebody that will have the same interests as you, especially if it's a mixed group and a mixed class. On the other hand, if you're not interested in meeting somebody, then you probably haven't got that focus. And so it is about, you know, sort of looks, you know, they're dressing to be attracting the opposite sex or somebody to enter into a relationship with.
Absolutely. Now, something I read, or no, actually, I heard it was on the radio a number of years ago, and it was a survey. I don't know who did the survey, so I'm just making that disclaimer. But they, whoever they are, surveyed a number of men, and they asked the men, what is your favorite time of year to actually be pursuing women? And they liked the times of year where women were more covered up because it left more to the imagination than just seeing it all out. And I know from people I've dated in the past that they wouldn't want everything hanging out. They want, you know, they want some mystery. And there's obviously people that are the exact opposite. So it's finding your own sense of comfort, but then again, not shifting, adjusting, because then I think it defeats the entire purpose. And if you are working out, for example, and you have a boob out, not cool.
But maybe some of the men are looking for that.
But you know, then the workout stops and you're trying to shove it back in and you're all mixed up. And it's like, wait, did you come to work out or are you working as a stripper? I don't know.
Well, in England, and I'm sure that it's probably quite different in the States because it's warmer weather. But in England, I've seen such a survey done, and it's quite different. It's the opposite way, that men like the summer more because then they can see the women undressed more, and they're looking for, you know, sort of the attention of the women, and they're looking at, you know, sort of their physique and checking them out. So we don't get much summer, and in the UK it's usually cold, and so we only have very brief amounts of very hot weather. And when it's really hot, because we have mainly cold, rain, wind and darker nights, we have long winters. When it is summer, what the big thing to do, a lot of women will just go stripping down to their bikinis or their swimsuits, and they will sunbathe and be walking around in next to nothing, because there's not a lot of opportunity to do that in the UK because the weather's not always great. And so I feel that perhaps because the weather is colder in the UK particularly, I feel that, you know, that survey that you were recounting in the States would be different, because usually people are underdressed. They are usually wearing very little, and there's not as long as a winter, so they're covering up in less time.
A very good point. Thank you. We've got a couple comments. Pastor Stephen is with us. God bless you. God bless you as well. Thank you for watching. And someone's watching live. Thank you, Facebook user watching live. We appreciate you.
Hello.
Hello, hello. So let's talk about how we can manage our own appearance. We can't worry about what everybody else is doing and how they're feeling, what they're thinking. We are in charge of empowering ourselves. So, what are some suggestions that you can make as a younger person, for example, with the pressure of social media to look a certain way? Is it get off social media? I mean, for many of the young folks, they've grown up with their device.
Absolutely. There is a lot of conversation. It's a big topic of conversation about not being on social media as much because it's creating high levels of anxiety in our young children and our young people because it is all about appearances. And to actually limit the time that you're on social media. You know, when I was growing up and when you were growing up, it was actually you weren't afraid that somebody's going to take a picture or a video of you if you fell in the mud. You know, you could actually fall in the mud or fall off a tree, and you know there wasn't a YouTube video of you doing that, you know, forever and a day. Whereas now there's much more focus on the fact that everybody's got a camera on their phone and they're taking pictures of like sort of the craziest moments, which don't make you look great. But my advice, and it is only that, and you know, sort of an invitation, is to come away from social media and live your life, because you only have the one life to live here. And I would suggest that you live it like it's almost your last day, so you have fun and that you enjoy, and that joy comes from inside rather than from outside. And it's not about, you know, on your graveside, when you have when you're on your last day of your life and you're not thinking about, did I look okay, was my hair okay on that social media post? It's about how many hours of happiness did you have in your life? How did you feel? How did you make other people feel in your life that were close to you? And how much joy and compassion did you experience within your life? It's not about how you looked on social media. And so my recommendation and my invitation is to enjoy life rather than feeling that you have to impress others. Enjoy it as if it's your last day. Dance as if nobody else is watching you, because when you do that, you will feel differently. And that's the really important thing. It's not about what others think, it's about how you feel inside.
So true. I think that's a song, by the way, Dance Like No One's Watching. So something else I wanted to share with you. I love Jennifer Lopez, not a paid spokesperson. She has out a documentary, This Is Me Now. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I've always admired her. I don't know her at all, just what I've seen in the press, and I've been to her concerts. But I've always admired her as sort of like the underdog, that such a beautiful woman who has so much going for her, that she had all these relationships that didn't work out. And long story short, she's put together this documentary and she's done a lot of press about the documentary. And I started watching it and I had to stop. I had to stop. First of all, the dancing was amazing and the costumes and it was amazing. But the story was very depressing about how she never liked herself and she never felt like she was worthy of love and she wanted the perfect life. This is just my takeaway from it. And the reason I bring it up is because I don't know why. I know that was her calling to share that, and she shared it in a global way. And I'm wondering, as a therapist, what do you hope? Again, you don't know her, we're not promoting her, but what would you think she wants to have happen as a result of letting the world see how much she didn't like herself or how insecure she was?
It's so typical of many, many celebrities and people that are successful in the celebrity world and even in work, that the appearances that they're famous, they have fortune, they have success, that means that they're really happy. But they're walking a tightrope of what's expected of them versus what they really feel inside. And Marilyn Monroe was another one that didn't have the confidence inside, and yet she wowed everyone. Everybody was falling in love with her, and she had curves on her, and she really promoted that it's okay, because she looked amazing, but inside, and this is the case of many celebrities, inside they don't feel it. And I think that it's not about what they look on the outside and the adoration, it's how you feel internally. And there could be things that have happened that make you feel insecure, feel unsafe, feel unloved, and have emotional trauma that on the external side of you that people don't see. They don't see the trauma on the outside when you look really gorgeous. What you're feeling is what's important. And I feel that Jennifer Lopez's share on that is, hey, look at me, I'm famous, I'm successful, I have money, I have the looks, and yet still I don't feel happy. And it's what she's sharing is that's normal for many, many people, and it's not unusual, even though you are very successful, to not feel happy.
Thanks, Caroline. And the last question about this topic, do you feel as a therapist, when somebody in her standing, someone at her level comes out and says something like this, is this for the good of humanity? Is it to reconcile something that's within her? What is the key takeaway of her doing this documentary?
She might be addressing some of her own personal issues in therapy. And that might be one of the things that has been asked of her to do, to declare that how she really feels internally, because that changes your experience when you become truthful, when you share your truth, and when you share your absolute authentic truth in that public way, as we do. We share our truth, that just because we're here on a global channel doesn't mean that we have it all together. We've had lives that are not all, we've had challenges, we've had lives that have been filled with things that have not gone right and things that have gone right. And just because we have this very glamorous external profile on TV, it doesn't mean to say that means that everything is good, that in life, it's about having challenges, overcoming them, and growing from that challenge into a better person internally and externally. And it sounds to me like she might be seeing a therapist, and it might be that she's having some kind of counselling, and she's now feeling more comfortable to share who she authentically is rather than who she's been portraying herself to be.
Absolutely. And by the way, in the documentary, she is seeing a therapist. So there you go.
Right. I didn't know. And that makes sense why that's all coming out, because that becoming, speaking her truth will actually make her feel better.
And my understanding is she put out $20 million for the hour-plus long documentary. So it's quite interesting. But I really enjoyed this show, and I've really enjoyed the fact that we've explored this topic when appearances are deceptive. I'm taking a lot away from it. We've got another show coming up right after this. So how can people reach out to you, Caroline, and what is your offer?
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. I've really enjoyed the show tonight as well. I never know where our shows are going to go because there's no script. And at the same time, it's always interesting because we're here without a script and it evolves. And so you get something very raw and real. So you can reach me on nomorestress at live.co.uk, or call, if you're international, +44, if you're local, 07523 120 189. And I offer an introductory session for 1 hour, which is £50. That's a real steal, and special priced packages to suit your budget with an on-the-go payment structure. So as you go through the sessions, that you can pay as you go. I also offer a 15-minute free Zoom or online audio consultation if you just want that very quick fix with one symptom. And I highly recommend booking in for the 1 hour, because then we look at more symptoms and it's much more intensive in terms of what you get from that session. And I look forward to catching up with you and helping you bust your stress.
Bust your stress. Go and bust your stress. All right. Thank you, Caroline. Absolutely a pleasure. And we're coming right back with 𝐬𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐑. You interviewed him and his show, The Perfect Podcast Show. So let's see if this week's episode is going to be perfect. Caroline, enjoy the rest of your evening. Everybody, please stay tuned. We'll be right back. It's been an absolute pleasure. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents our partner and sponsor, Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. Building confidence, changing lives. And now, proudly presenting the Polished Professional.
On a transformative journey with the British School of Excellence's comprehensive suite of masterclasses, crafted to elevate your professional and personal life. 8 outstanding modules will elevate you to the next level. Module 1, Exploring Life's Purpose, delves into the depths of self-discovery, guiding you to chart your unique path to fulfillment and success. Module 2, Mastering Professional Presence and Confidence. This masterclass is a deep dive into the art of self-assurance and commanding presence, which is essential for standing out in today's competitive landscape. Module 3, Learn the secrets of visual impact, how to curate a personal style that amplifies your professional brand. Module 4, Mastering Professional Etiquette and Communication Excellence, navigating the nuances of corporate interaction with grace and tact. Module 5, Elegance in Eloquence. We impart powerful techniques to captivate and persuade any audience with your oratory skills. Module 6, Unlock the potential of your emotional intelligence, EQ, and harness the ability to connect, empathize, and lead with emotional savvy. Module 7, Mastering DISC, building a gateway to understanding behavioral styles, fostering better personal and professional relationships. Module 8, Mastery in Dining Etiquette, building your confidence to perfect the subtleties of dining with finesse, enhancing your social savviness at any table. Step into the Polished Professional program where poise, elegance, and excellence aren't just taught, they're instilled for life. Join us to redefine your potential and polish your professional edge.
To learn more, go to thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. The British School of Excellence are investors in people. Let us invest in you. This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of the world's first tooth fairy ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of Elegance, Polished Demeanor, and Posh Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the tooth fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Bella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book Bella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Bella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.
To learn more about Zane, contact her through her website, 𝐬𝐂𝐄𝐓𝐇.com, 𝐬𝐂𝐄𝐓𝐇H.com. Order Zane's books and merchandise. Contact her about being a keynote speaker at your next event.